Alright, well, we're going to discuss a little thing called outsourcing and why so many companies decide to go ahead and just start outsourcing to China and to Mexico and to India and insourcing workers from there. The first the first issue that we have to address in all of this is basically there's a business principle called lowest cost and highest returns. So you want to make something as cheap as possible and make the greatest amount of profit off of it. All businesses do it regardless of how altruistic these businesses might be. So and this is why many people are sending their business over to China, like Apple, of course always being a big one. You'll see about Foxconn. Anyways, business want to run a profit, so and they're going to pay for it. They're going to pay. They want to hire good talent, but they are kind of restricted. Generally, their restrictions boil down to this: is government regulations, government taxes. So, a good example is, let's say that I want to hire you for $40,000. So I gotta hire you $40,000. Now that's just straight pay, no benefits, no nothing else. And then I gotta start paying everything on top of you. So I gotta pay for FICA, I gotta pay OSHA, I gotta pay EPA regulations for you, so Medicare, Medicaid, local taxes, and now Obamacare. So all these things factored in together start tacking on a lot of money. So if I hire you for 40, it could be up to $20,000 to $40,000 in additional expenditures just to cover you. So as a business, I want to at least double my profit off of you. Let's say that I pay a total of $60,000. Now I got to double my profit. I got to make $120,000 off of you for it to be worth my time to even bother hiring you. So that's why you're starting to see a lot of companies switching over to part-time workers, things like that, because they don't have to pay all those taxes and all the medical insurance, things like that on people. So they're trying to basically run a profit. And I'm not even talking about adding benefits to this. So that's one of the very first issues you have to address. There's just so much money that you have to pay when you hire somebody. A lot of times companies are not going to hire you because they would rather just have either a part-time worker or somebody who will do the work of two people. So the next aspect that I also want to address is why we're outsourcing everything to China and those other countries is a little thing I call crony capitalism. Crony capitalism is where companies pass legislation that basically protects their industries, and they are everywhere. So you have fees and regulation to protect the industry. A good example, and I can give you two really good examples of this, is that my wife does a lot of sewing, and she wanted to make a baby carrier, but because a baby carrier is a weight-bearing device, it has to be tested for her to make it and then be approved by somebody. The problem is that it costs a lot of money and definitely not worth it to do that. The other aspect is that even if you make a product in the United States, like with my wife, it has to be tested for lead. That's another expensive process. So unless you actually are an established business, a lot of small-time business basically shutting down because they just cannot afford testing for this kind of stuff. So you add those two factors together. You got to pay a lot of money to hire people, and you got to pay a lot of money for this testing and fees and OSHA, and the list goes on and on and on. It doesn't become very profitable to hire people in the United States. It becomes a lot more profitable to make a product in China where there's very little to no regulations on things, and then just ship it to the United States. So you have smallest amount of money spent, greatest return in the United States. So it basically just boils down to pure business. Now, we can address these issues, but that's a discussion for another time. So, again, thank you for your time. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and post them below. Thank you very much.